Everybody. So I get this question a lot on the insurance side of our business, and it's what deductible should I go with, right? There are, especially mainly talking home and auto, right? That's, pretty much the insurance that most everybody has. Is health insurance really weird? And I don't do health insurance because it's just very complicated, at least what it looks like to me. But I think that varies, and by varies, it's going to vary your situation to someone else's situation, obviously your financial situation, the carrier of the insurance that you're going with, right? What the numbers look like for them. But ultimately, I think it's a conversation you got to have directly, really, with the person you're doing your insurance through. Not necessarily the carrier, unless you're, going to like a State Farm example where they only do State Farm. But for me, where I have like 30 different carriers I can shop people through, some of them are going to vary. And so quick example, and I'm just kind of like making these numbers up, but I've played with the numbers and policies for people and kind of gave them a suggestion. Hey, I think you should go with $1,000 deductible instead of a $500 deductible. Here's why, right? And so and that's the key, right? Is not just doing it to do it or doing it because it's cheaper, or doing it. If something does happen, I want to pay more. It comes down to like a number place. For me, I almost view it like buying a rental property. Right? So it's numbers. So quick example, and most of the policies that we have, our deductibles are either $1,000 or $2,500. And the reason is because I, knock on wood, right? I don't plan on using insurance, right? Gotta have it in case of a rainy day, something terrible happens, right? So therefore, yes, I would use it, but ideally not for all of us, right? Never really plan on using insurance. But when I'm kind of messing with the numbers, so changing it from $0 deductible, $100 deductible, or $500 or $1,000, and mainly talking on the auto, home, you're not going to be able to get those lower deductibles for the most part. But you got to look at how your payment changes, right? What your premium is. So what you pay over the course of 6 months or a year, which is most people's auto, right? You're going to have either a 6-month policy or a year policy. So a quick example, right? If my insurance with a $500 deductible is $1,000 a year, and I can change my insurance to $1,000 deductible, and it goes to $750 a year. Well, that's a $250 savings. And what that means is if I don't use my insurance for 2 years, then I've basically offset that $500 deductible already. And then the rest of the money, the rest of the time, each year, I'm arguably making $250 more than what I would have. And therefore, so if I ever do use it, sure, I'll pay $1,000, but maybe I've had it for 4 years, didn't need to use it, and all of a sudden, then I needed to. Well, I've actually already made a full $1,000. The deductible actually paid for itself by me increasing my deductible to take the lower payment. Right, so it's just simple math at that point, and that's where it does get into. Like in a lot of our rental properties, we have a $2,500 deductible because I know filing claims, especially claims on small stuff, is going to really hurt your insurance long term, right? So I don't really plan on, and this should vary drastically from person to person, right? But kind of in the back of my head, right, I'm probably not going to file a claim. Something does happen, a weird thing. If it's probably I don't know, I'm sure every situation will be different and I would evaluate it. But let's just say, for example, if my deductible was $2,500 and my claim was $5,000, well, I know I'm putting, basically I'm out $2,500 because I gotta pay my deductible. So it's was $2,500 really worth filing a claim? And for me, in most cases, probably not. Now, of course, if, blew a roof off, right, and I had to replace a roof and that was, $20,000, sure, it makes sense to file a claim and pay that $2,500 deductible to get arguably a new roof. But that's what you really got to do. You got to, when you're shopping, I think that's one of the important things to do. Because generally when people come to me and they have I see people come to me to shop their auto, and their auto will be like a $0 deductible, which sounds great, right? Which sounds awesome. Something happens, you don't pay anything. Well, I think that's terrible. Because what that does is that encourages you to file small claims, which will actually, again, back. All right, we're back. Which will actually hurt you long term, meaning your insurance is going to go up, your carrier might drop you, whatever it is. Like, I've seen people kick back. Like, I've literally went to shop them. One person in particular wanted me to do their home, and they had 3 claims. 2 of them like never even like paid out anything, and then one of them like was like $1,000, and this was like a course of like 5 years. It was all weather related too. It wasn't like accidents or something. This is weather related, and they did it. Well, none of the carriers I had would touch them, because they don't want to deal with people filing claims on stupid stuff, let alone it's a higher risk of somebody filing claims. They're going to file claims in the future. All right. So I couldn't really help them. And when I told her, she's like, I don't understand. She's like, one was just like it done like some water damage, from the rain. She's like, the other things like didn't even do it, but they had a record of it. And so all the carriers, I couldn't really find her, put her with a carrier that was not an astronomical number, because of that. So, kind of backtracking, you got to get in there and play with the numbers. So people come to me with that $0 deductible. I generally just say, hey, listen, I can match it, sometimes even beat it by, especially in auto. I have great auto carriers right now. I can match it. I can even beat it. But hey, if you just change this deductible from 0 to 1,000, I can literally save you. I think, there's one I was shopping, last week, and it was $800 a year. Like, I was going to save them switching over, $800 a year. It's basically 1 year, and the deductible paid for itself. So it's running numbers like that. That's why I do think it's important when you're doing this. But insurance people, right? Insurance and real estate, right? They're both arguably sales. Insurance, I don't make any money unless people buy insurance from me. Real estate, I don't make anything unless people buy and sell real estate with me. So I realize it is a sales job. And one of the things that they're going to train insurance agents on, is preaching, no deductible, which sounds so cool. But what it does is it makes your premium higher. Well, I can tell you, your insurance agents, depending on the carrier and stuff like that, they're probably going to get paid. And again, I'm not saying like what their take home money is. Like me as a business, when I write a policy, generally I'm going to get somewhere between 8 and 15% of your total premium. So if it's a year premium, it's $1,000. Let's just say for easy numbers, that carrier's paying me 12%. Well, it's $120. That's it, right? And that's like that's before like a split scenario that I have, depending on the carrier. That doesn't pay for any of the software that I gotta have. It doesn't pay, even my insurance to be an insurance agent is like $3,000 a year. So it's a lot of policies like I got to write just to like offset it. But I'm saying that because it's a way for them to get a couple extra bucks and upsell you, but also in a way that if you don't really understand it, you may not know they're upselling you, and may take your policy from $1,000 to $1,300 not to get no deductible. Well, they make a 30 extra bucks or something like that, right? Which again, when you're just on the phone going through things, right, can really add up for some people, when you're doing it all the time. But you really need to kind of shop and play with the numbers. I typically never recommend 0. 500 would be the lowest I typically recommend. That's if somebody wants it. But I generally, on auto, try to move everybody to 1,000. I think it makes sense. But there might be a carrier where I move it to 1,000 and it only saves you like $50. Right? Well, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. That means you'd have to have the policy for like 10 years to offset that $500 deductible difference going from 500 to 1,000. Well, that doesn't make sense. So I would rather pay $50 more a year and have my deductible at 500, right? So some carriers might do that. So that's why you shop carriers. But as always, guys, if you got questions, holler anytime.